Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with one more message from the Spirit of Truth. The team of several Spirit authors, Emmanuel, André Luiz, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, Professor Eurípides Barçanufo, Meimei, Anália Franco, Manuel Quintão, Hilário Silva, and many others. While Chico, Xavier, Waldo, Vieira, and their group were studying messages of the gospel according to Spiritism, they brought the development of that understanding to us. Why? As we were studying today, this morning, the philosopher Epictetus, he said, only education sets us free. Only education sets us free. Ignorance is limiting, is a prison. So we need to get out of it. That's why we're here together, investing in getting to know the truth. And the truth that our reasoning, our conscience points out to that direction. Chapter 25 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Item 1, chapter 25 says, seek and you shall find. And Jesus, as reported in Matthew 7:11. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock at the door, and it shall be opened to you. For whoever asks receives, and whoever seeks finds. And it shall be opened to the one who knocks at the door. Also, who is the man among you who will give a stone to his son when he asks for bread? Or if he asks him for a fish, will give him a serpent? If therefore you, being evil as you are, know how to give good things to your children, it is even more reasonable that your Father who is in heaven will give food to things to those who ask him. Who is going to doubt that God will provide for what we need? Bargaining with God is gone. To date, many people bargain. God, if you give me this, I'll do that. If you give me 10 more years, I will give you. If you give me a promotion, if you give me a wife, if you give me a child, and we're bargaining with God as if God is that cheap. God's not like that. God is the loving parent, as you know. I know you know. We know. And today, Emmanuel is going to tell us about God in us. God in us. Feel it. Let us feel it at this moment. God in us. Where do you feel God in you? Do you want to type in here so we can know? Yeah, share. Where do you feel God in you? Where? How do you feel God in you? Sometimes, I'll share with you. Sometimes, as Mentor Joseph says, Vanessa, think of yourself, not the physical body only, completely as spirit, the three-dimensional part of us, the whole complex. Think of yourself as God's sculpture. And then I start feeling that God in us, the potential in us. And then I start smiling. Don't you start smiling too? God in us. All people from all over the world, they deserve to know that they are sculptures of God. That you and I are sculptures of God. Of course, we're at a point that we need coaches. We need teachers in school. We need coaches. We need personal trainers. But we have the personal trainer, Jesus. And he said, we need to walk the extra mile, sacrifice ourselves be selfless, and help everyone we can. That's God in us. That's why we can't do whatever we like, because that's not God. God in us always serves, always loves, always waits, always feels compassion, always everything good. Emmanuel quotes the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 19, verse 11, which said, "And God did extraordinary wonders by the hands of Paul." Today, you and I are being invited to ask the extraordinary things, the divine things that are being done through us. I won't spoil the message. Let us read, talk about it, feel it, visualize it. Who, says Emmanuel, God in us, who can limit the extent of the blessings that from above? Who can limit? Who can tell the extent of the blessings that flow from above? Because it's always of inferior origin, evil is limited, like all the manifestations, due exclusively to the creatures. But the good has a divine character. And similar to the attributes of the Supreme Father, Mother of all of us, it brings with it the quality of being infinite in any direction. So the good is infinite, is abundant, evil is limited. Messages ago in this book, The Spirit of Truth, we had an invitation by the superior spirits. Do not believe in the supremacy of evil. But do we believe in the supremacy of evil? Do we? Most often we do. We look at ourselves in the mirror and we have a hard time seeing the divine. We look at the imperfections. We look at other people and we repeat the same because we can only give what we feel. But evil is limited and the good is divine and it's infinite. Emmanuel continues. First of all, the good prevails in the persons, in the very, the good, okay, prevails. And the intention, the sincere intention of the spirit will dictate what's gonna happen. So use your own possibilities in the service of the divine will, offering the heart to fulfill your tasks with Jesus, and the unlimited will gradually appear to you in the tracks of experience under the form of hope and consolation, joy and peace. This is phenomenal. This book is so striking. First, who can limit the extension of the good? The evil is limited, the good is unlimited, it's infinite. And then he's asking us to use our possibilities in the service of the divine will. And the unlimited will gradually appear in our experience in forms of hope, consolation, joy, and peace. It's amazing. It is amazing. He's talking about unlimited will. Of course, it's divine. Some people are afraid of being optimistic and being frustrated. They tell me, Vanessa, I'm afraid because when things are going right, I know what happens next. Something wrong. And I said, self sabotage. No, 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 no. Remember, we are children of God. Good things come our way. We're not talking about good things, Disneyland like. No, we're talking about inner good things because the external are tests. For example, when a student goes to school, they have to do test. Test is terrible for the bad student because for the good student, it's just a natural thing. But the bad student has aversion for tests. Majority of us on earth are bad students because we dream of easy, breezy life without any sweat. That's not natural. The bees don't stop working. The ants don't stop working. The penguins do their march and they don't stop working. Why do humans dream of infinite rest? Oh, because I know the answer. You know the answer. The less evolved we are, the denser the perispirit. And more we feel the density of the physical body. The more evolved we are, the less dense our perispirit is. Let's read in the Genesis by Kardec. And the more evolved I am, the less dense the perispirit, the less I feel the density of the physical body. So here we are, friends, thinking about using our possibilities in the divine will. As dark as today's ideals seem, like the ones of the past, do not be discouraged. Raise your feelings and take your actions with a new route, a new north. After the necessary purification, the most polluted water from the gutter becomes clear and crystalline, as if it had never experienced the coexistence of impurity. The present is a perennial link of union between the remnants of the past and a better future life, shaping yourself the reconstructive forces of your new resolutions so that they can express in works of improvement and love. Recognizing your origin in the source of all perfections, it is natural that we can and need to carry out around us the perfect works to which we're destined by our nature. Here's how valuable this writing in the Acts of Paul or Act of the Apostles is. It reminds us of the magnitude of Paul's tasks. When the Damascus initiate got ready to walk, to assist and to learn in the holocaust of his own energies to exalt the good. The hands, as well as the set of instruments and possibilities that serves us in ordinary life, wait passively for the opportunity to apply to higher designs according to our personal deliberations. When we act in the good, we feel the presence of God in us. Meditate on the use of your resources in the field of fraternity. Discard the barrier of discouragement out of your way and proceed confidently, moving forward. The soil always bears fruit when helped by the grower, the sower. Therefore, use the plow with which the Lord enriches your hands. Work on the soil of your responsibility with firmness and hope, in the certainty that there will be plentiful harvest crowning your efforts as long as you remain supported in the safe purpose of corresponding to the work program that the Father reserves to you in the workshop of light in search of the unalterable joy. When we act in the good, we feel the presence of God in us. This is the center of the message. He's saying, if we don't do the good, we are disconnected. We're not aligned. I know some people, they're like little kids in the body of adults. They like to play games with one another. They hear somebody who is in an authority position saying, we all need to do this. And they go there like little kids and become defiant, saying, what if I don't want to do it? Now I'm not going to do it just because you said so. That defiant child in us, in the body of an adult, needs healing. Majority of us on earth need to heal our inner child. It's about our wants. How do we heal our inner child? By strengthening the adult in us. In Spiritism, the adult in us is our reasoning. We need to think more on how the adult in us is going to pay attention to the facts of life. We'll pay attention to the facts of life. We'll focus on the objective things we need to focus. And we will not worry about pulling and pushing, power struggling with people. In our families, in our communities, at work. There are people who are constantly power struggling. It's their inner child that needs to make a point because it's hurting. That inner child needs healing. So how do we heal? Strengthen the adult. The adult, according to the gospel of Jesus, is the one that takes responsibility, as Emmanuel is saying. Work the plow of your responsibility with firmness and hope. When we act in the good, we feel the presence of God in us. Why was Chico Xavier sick and not afraid? Why? Because he had so much in the good that gave him emotional strength. He underwent scenarios that were difficult in related especially to financial reasons, family issues, societal challenges, religious conflicts that people were playing. And Chico Xavier always chose to take action in the good, feeling the presence of God, and he was all right. Unalterable joy. Unalterable joy. We're gonna write it. Oh yes, we will. It's a diagram. We needed to write this diagram right here now in our very whiteboard. We need to write. How does it work? Okay, so let's draw. First of all, what do? We're gonna write. First and foremost, Emmanuel says, do the good. What happens next? Next, we're gonna see the inevitable feeling of God in us. And then what happens next? Next, we feel unalterable joy. See, emotional stability comes with a recipe. Do the good, feel God in you, and we feel unalterable joy. And okay, that's exactly how it feels. I try to draw a heart, but I'll put lots of hearts here. Why? Because that's love. When we do the good, it's always love. Do the good. What is to do the good? What is to do the good? To listen to somebody, to look at them, to smile. What else? What else? As I put all these hearts here for us. Huh? Too girly, Vanessa. That's not girly. This is the feminine in all of us. Okay? So here we do the good. We feel God in us. We feel unshakable joy, unalterable joy. So when we're not feeling joy, it means we're not feeling God in us, and it means we're not doing the good. You see, the reverse is true. So today, Emmanuel is saying, if we want to feel joy, we need to feel God in us. To feel God in us, we need to do the good. So in the next 24 hours, our dear spirit mentor, Joseph, is asking us to be inspired in this very statement. When we act in the good, we feel the presence of God in us. And then we will achieve this unalterable joy. In the next 24 hours, we're invited to take action towards the good. Shall we? Feel the good. Seek the good, visualize the good, and mold the good with all the resources we can. And feel where we feel God in us. It's when you decide to say a prayer for someone who doesn't even know you're praying for them. You feel good. It's when we decide to send some money to somebody because we think they may need it, but we surprise them. It's when we send somebody a message. It's when we reply somebody's message, and so on and so forth. There's so many ways, but we need to focus on others to do the good. It's not only about the good to us, it's the good towards everyone. When we act in the good, we feel the presence of God in us. God in us. What else do we want? If God is everything, do you love God? Because God loves us. And the question is, God loves us, sustains us, counts on us, loves us. Do we love God? I believe in God is one thing. I love God is another. So let us spend a day with God in us. Every day should be like this, but the exercise today is specifically to do this. To feel God in us, our love by doing the good without any limit, because the good is unlimited, it's infinite, abundant. What a message! We're very grateful to Emmanuel. We're grateful to Chico Xavier. We're grateful to God in Jesus for this opportunity of being here today. Thank you, friends, for being here in this current of the good. Let us spread the good, because when we act in the good, we feel the presence of God in us. Thank you, friends. A big hug. Until tomorrow, God willing.